Yeah, good Saturday morning. Ray Stagich here at the Weather Channel. Weekend view time, and we're going to get you updated on the latest weather this morning. And we're going over to the Westpac first. Devastating aftermath. Typhoon Haiyan. Most powerful storm to ever make landfall in recorded history. At least 100 people killed, but authorities say they do expect that number to rise. Here's reporter Agnes Walker.
Haiyan came howling ashore with winds topping 230 miles an hour. Houses were torn apart, huge waves crashed ashore, a tidal surge flooded coastal areas. Crew members on this barge had to abandon ship and struggle to get to shore. 12 million people live in the path of the storm. Hundreds of thousands were forced to evacuate. That almost certainly saved many lives. But with power out and communications cut, an accurate death toll and the true scope of the devastation may not be known for days.
Do you think there are villages along the coast which have been completely destroyed?
Yes, I think so. And hopefully nobody died there.
The Philippines is no stranger to big storms. It has seen 24 this year, but nothing like this. The images have been spectacular. A composite photograph of the view from space. The sharply defined eye of the storm at its peak. The gigantic pinwheel hurtling across the Philippines towards Southeast Asia. A storm big enough to cover much of the United States. Are giant storms like this one the shape of things to come, spawned by global warming?
Climate models have shown that warming could make these systems stronger. Now, we don't know that that was the case with Haiyan, but this was the most powerful system to have ever made landfall on record.
A storm more powerful than Katrina, Andrew, even Superstorm Sandy. Angus Walker for NBC News, the Philippines.
And from the Philippines to flash flooding that struck Texas over Halloween, hundreds of families had to evacuate their homes. Many of them left their pets behind. Scott Newell found out where many of those pets are being housed and what's stopping some families from reclaiming them.
Last week's floods in Austin displaced hundreds of animals, and many of them wound up here at the Austin Humane Society. They're taking care of many of these animals, including dozens of dogs and cats. And one of these dogs is very famous. Kelly Haynes is with the Humane Society. And Kelly, this is Panda. And why is Panda so famous?
Panda was brought out of the floodwaters by the Austin Fire Department. Specifically, a firefighter had been carrying her out of the water, and there were several photographers there that were taking photos. So those photos went viral. They've been seen around the United States now and around the world, and Panda's a star.
What's her situation as far as ownership, though?
She has a microchip, so we do have owner information. We're just playing detectives back here trying to track down those owners. We haven't had any luck yet, so we're just trying to keep the word out there with the media that this girl, sweet girl, is looking for a home.
The good news is that many of the cats, in fact all the cats that are being cared for here, they know who the owners are, but there are some dogs you don't know who the owners are, right?
That's right, and that's again where we're working off of our Facebook page, off of our website, austinhumanesociety.org, and we're trying to get people to look at these animals and see if they recognize them and if they can help us find their homes.
How long will they have to claim their animals?
Indefinitely. We're going to exhaust ourselves. We're going to go until we can't go any longer, and that's going to be a long, long time. So we'll be here taking care of these animals in need.
And many of the families still can't get back into their homes, and they can't take their animals with them, and that's why many of the animals have to stay here, right?
Right. A lot of those families are just getting back into their house. Their houses late this week, and what they're finding is that there's no longer a house. There's nowhere where to live. There's nowhere to put their dog, put their cat. So they're reaching out to us. They're trying to get some help, and that's what we're here for.
And thank goodness you're here.
Yeah, we're
it's
lucky.
a huge help. Kelly, thanks so much. Back to you.
All right, thanks. Quick update here on Typhoon Haiyan. It has weakened, but still a 120-mile-per-hour storm through the Philippines now, heading toward Vietnam, but taking a curve away. And it looked earlier, at least 18 to 24 hours ago, that it may trek a little further toward the south. But although it's a large wind field, the center of the storm may actually stay offshore until it gets into South China, but weakening by early Sunday morning. But still impacts with some heavy rainfall and some flooding likely in some of those rice paddies out through Vietnam. Let's go back stateside now. Low pressure, quick mover, skirting on through the northern tier of the U.S. as this tracks on off toward the east. A little bit of rain, snow, kind of getting a little jab here. Jab, jab. No knockout blow for this precip coming in today. Rain, snow, Duluth, International Falls. Any advisories that were up earlier are now dropped. Down further south, it looks like mainly rain. Kind of a mix and a mess here as we go through tonight, tomorrow. Maybe some snow up through the higher elevations in the northeast and New England, White, Green Mountains. And you get these little nooks and crannies here in the Adirondacks and through northern Vermont, New Hampshire, where, there's days it snows and accumulates, and what do you hear? Crickets. You hear nothing about it. And this may be one of those systems. A lot of friends of friends that live in those areas that, they say, well, I got 5 inches of snow. And you're just kind of like, you did? Who knew? But this is the system that may do it. Talking about Picasso, I'm painting. And on this enhanced satellite picture, we paint the higher, colder cloud tops with green and yellow, and that's where there may be precipitation. Most likely there is, and then I'll show you the radar and say, look, I do know what I'm talking about. Some rain, snow around northern Michigan, even in through southern Canada, and some of that through the southern provinces, Canada, and even near the nation's icebox International Falls. Now, if this is snow, which the radar is trying to interpolate, it's not sticking because temperatures are most likely above freezing on 75. Cadillac, some rain. There might be a little sleet mixed in here. I have to check some of the obs. That's that higher reflectivity on your radar here, but it does look like most of this is in the form of liquid. Or if it is frozen, it should not cause any travel trouble. Coming out of Detroit through Flint and Saginaw, you're dry on 69. As you go west, you're dry toward Grand Rapids. Still may see a little bit of rain, snow shower as we go through this morning. Temperatures, as we said, most of them I can find are above freezing. Marquette, case in point, at 37. Chicago, let's reflect back to yesterday morning when you're down to 28. Coldest number so far this fall at O'Hare. Today you're 46. This little push of warm air coming north, talked about it yesterday on the radio, 89 WLS radio in Chicago, Weather Channel affiliate. Colder air is going to be on the move though. 38 Cleveland, not bad for a November morning. Same thing down in Louisville at 38 degrees. Now, big changes coming. Mary, Charlie, Peter, modified continental polar air on the move. And it's modified in this case because there's right now lack of snowpack even in the southern provinces of Canada and across the northern tier of the U.S. So as this cold air comes out of the Arctic, with the landmass being warmer than it would be if there was a snowpack, it modifies, but still it's cold enough to 10 to 20 degrees below average for this part of the world as we head through the early part of the week. Watch your temperatures. This isn't a precip event. This is a temperature story. Tomorrow, Madison 45, Chicago 46, about 47 for the kickoff for the Lions and the Bears at Soldier Field. And then Monday, watch the cold air ooze south. You got Deuces and Fargo for the high temperature. These are high temperatures. Minneapolis 29 Monday, Chicago 42, Des Moines in the 30s, as you will be in Omaha Tuesday, probably the coldest day. 33 Chicago, high temperature. 30 Madison, high temperature. 30 degrees Minneapolis, Des Moines 34. So the coldest air mass so far this season. It's tough to say whether this is a harbinger of things to come, but here you can see it in the 30s even through midweek. So we go from 50s to 40s to 30s. No, there aren't any 20s, but the overnight lows in Chicago will get down into the 20s. In the east, got a system that's skirting through the lakes, heading east today. Temperatures this morning, I'd say at least reasonable for this time of year, and just a little bit of rain, snow here north of Syracuse on 81. No accumulation expected. And as we take a look at our current temperatures, not bad. If you're heading out this morning, temperatures mainly in the 30s, 28 the cold spot over in Pittsburgh. That cold air is on the move, but it's not coming in today. Most of us in the 30s this morning, New York City at 40 degrees. Heading through the day, watching that rain snow develop off to the north, and most of it staying north of Albany and New York City, where by 5 p.m. tonight, you're at 47.